Hi, thank you for your question. Yes, there are things that I miss about the old me, and there are things that I don't miss, and I'll talk about them with you. Now, before I get into it, I feel like it goes without saying that although there's things that I miss and stuff, I mean, obviously, life is a lot better, a lot fulfilling, like living as authentically me. Contrary to popular belief, people don't like wake up one day and decide I'm gonna completely transform my body through medical procedures and hormones just 'cause it felt nice on this Tuesday morning. But with that being said, there are definitely things I miss about presenting feminine, and there's things that I could definitely do without. So what you see here is a grid of all photos of me at various times in my life. Now I could make a grid with like hundreds of these because I have lived life, presenting in so many different aesthetics, just trying to find something that felt right before I finally bit the bullet and transitioned. But just to give you an idea, to see, that I've experienced life, with society reacting in many different ways, cause yeah. So I'm gonna start with the things that I do miss. I miss not being in as many awkward situations. Things can be awkward now because honestly, a lot of people don't talk about it, but like, say I'm on the phone with somebody before I have to meet them like for an appointment or something like that, then they meet me and they're expecting to see, usually a woman because my voice can be high, and then they see me and they're like taken aback. That can be awkward. I miss not having to deal with that. Another thing I miss doing hair and nails, I was fucking filthy with hair and nails. I was great. I actually think I deleted all of my nail work in a fit of rage. However, I have a lot of pictures of my hair that I've done. So I like almost always wore weave, when I presented as a woman. The first one, I can't point to it, but the first one, yeah, that's all fake. I did it all myself. Second one, I was only like 17 or 18. I think I was 17. And I did that all myself, layered the weave so it was like half blonde, half black. The third one is when I detransitioned, which wasn't that long ago, like in 2019, although the hairline was a little, but I was bald underneath, so what are you gonna do? This one, I just love the colors and I just love my makeup in the second to last one. This one I'd like cut my own fringe and then like I'd add a hairpiece in the back to make it like, Aubrey Hepburn-esque. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, you can still do hair and nails as a dude. And like, I totally know, but I don't like doing hair and nails on other people. And as far as on me, it's just not my style as a dude. Another thing I miss, less confusion when it comes to like being a caregiver to family members and stuff. A lot of people don't touch on this, but as you get older as a trans person, if you have parents that you're caring for, things can get a little shifty and confusing. When you're listed on documents, like upon documents as a daughter, as a woman, a girl, whatever, but then people see you when you go into like a doctor's office, a hospital. They're a bit taken aback, and it can even like lead to honestly legal issues. Because if all the information doesn't match, if your legal name doesn't match, if your legal gender doesn't, it's like it can be a headache. That's part of why I changed my legal gender back to female. Not the only reason or main reason, but part of it, because it can be confusing. And I didn't have to deal with that confusion back then, so that is something that I miss. It would be much easier if, like, doctors, specialists, etc., were expecting, a daughter to walk in and I looked like a daughter. Then case closed. Like, there wouldn't be any confusion at all. My parents are very supportive, though. My dad, he is so sweet. He is old school Irish Catholic, so I really at first didn't know how he'd take my transition, but before we go to a doctor's appointment, he always asked me, should I refer to you as my son or my daughter, just to make sure. So now we're gonna move on to things I do not miss. Other women. Listen, as a trans man, I don't try to relate to the experiences that like cis men had growing up because I just didn't have it. I wasn't raised as a little boy, but I was raised as a little girl. I feel like from a very young age, little girls are really like pressured into thinking that anybody that is prettier than them, thinner than them, more outgoing than them is a threat, and automatically they should dislike them. I do feel that this generation is breaking that curse and my generation is like following suit, which is awesome. But I remember having that mentality, and like pretty much every other girl I knew had the same one. Unless you were super close with another woman, if they were like, what society perceives as prettier than you or smaller than you, boom, they were competition. Now I'm gonna get into some topics that are a little could be triggering for some people. So if you have any history of EDs, please take notice and maybe stop watching. This is me before I went into recovery for an eating disorder. Now just to give you a little a little view on how life was for me then. All I thought about was food. I fasted constantly. I would hoard food. I'd binge on food. It got to the point I started facing like incontinence because when you get to a certain point in an ED, your body's like instinctually, it just tries to save your heart and your brain, and other organs tend to. I was a size like 00. I bought most of my clothes in the kids section. I thought that was a flex. I literally thought that was a flex because I was finally smaller than anyone. And society taught me that that meant I was more valuable and tough shit to everybody else. Who cares if your organs are failing and your teeth are rotting, babe? You're thin. And just to illustrate how deeply implanted these roots are of like the need to be thinner, more attractive. I'm presuming now, like 10, 15 years later, the thought is like bigger lips, bigger butt, whatever, not my business. But back then, you wanted to be the thinnest, the most attractive, and if you weren't, then you were gonna hate anybody who was. And I know that in some way society, even though it's making progress, it is still like this. Cause I actually showed the first picture, in one of my videos. And like I had some woman be like, why did you do that to yourself? You ruined yourself. And I get that a lot. I'll show these pictures of when I was clearly ill. Like I was very sick. And women will be like, oh my God, you ruined yourself. You're so pretty. But that's what society teaches them. The thinner the better, no matter the consequence. The prettier the better, no matter the consequence. And I'm very glad that that cycle is sort of a little bit starting to break. And I'm sure as hell glad that I don't gotta deal with it no more. Spitting off that topic, another thing I don't miss about, presenting as a woman is, how society perceives you if you're overweight as a woman. Although I think this is getting better, which I'm very glad. There were obviously times before I transitioned when I presented as a woman where I was bigger, I was curvier. And I truly believe, especially on social media, women of size are not treated the same at all as men of size who are eating on camera, cooking on camera, etc. You see my videos now, I'll do like vlogs of what I eat in a day, my family going out to all these restaurants, my mother-in-law cooking, me cooking. And I do get like a lot of hate and a lot of scary comments on a pretty regular basis, but I would say only about like 2% directly target my weight. Now, if I looked like I did when I was an overweight woman and I went on camera and ate those foods and cooked those meals, I do think I would get a lot more backlash. And that ties into what I was talking about before about like, what society implants in everybody's head. I will see women on here eating like super healthy meals, but if they're just even a tiny bit overweight, the comment section is fucking gross. I do think there's privilege being a dude, like, on social media, even if I'm trans, like, eating, cooking, etc., because I really, truly believe if I presented feminine and did all those things, y'all would not be as nice. Another one, I'm just gonna be real. I don't miss women's drawers. Do you know, let me tell you something. Them things are so small. Oh my God. That was the worst part when I detransitioned. I had forgot how small women's drawers are. They're like this tiny. As my husband would say, how do they cover the Volvo? No, but for real, this is sort of related. One day, this is, when I, transitioned back to male. I literally went outside in my drawers, in like my boxer briefs, whatever, not even realizing anything because like women's shorts that I was wearing, like Daisy Dukes, they're way shorter than like boxer briefs. So I think I subconsciously thought that I had some shorts on, and nope, I was in my drawers. Thank God I noticed. Actually, I think my husband noticed before we took off in the car. So.